Where Does Food, the food history podcast that starts with a nice piece of rustic history and then layers on some fake history for comedic purposes, tops that meaty middle with some sad information about the exploitative nature of different food industries, and then topped with another nice piece of rustic history to create Where Does Food sandwich. I'm your host, Tim, and with me, as always, is your other host.
What's up, you guys? I'm Elle.
And today, if you couldn't tell, we're talking sandwiches, baby.
What a lead-in, Tim.
We're talking Sammy's. I'm taking the reins back, and I decided to really show off, I think.
So let me flex these muscles I haven't, in case you all forgot.
Yeah, in case you forgot. Elle, how do you feel about sandwiches?
I love sandwiches. Granted, over the years, my sandwich definition has kind of, expanded a little bit, but I love sandwiches.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm terrible, and I will just call a lot of things, everything. I'll just call everything sandwiches except burgers, which are just, to me, like a beef patty and then bread. If it's a chicken patty, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a sandwich. But it's like
that's a sandwich.
But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's chicken. That's a sandwich.
That's a sandwich.
Cow. That's not a sandwich. All right. So here's the thing. I was trying to think of a scale, and there's too many sandwiches in the world for me to come
Incredible.
with a scale.
What a good problem to have.
So we're just going to create a number. Yeah, we're just going to create a number. I'm going to say 789. So on a scale from one loaf of bread to 789 loaves of bread, what would you give sandwiches?
550 loaves of bread.
550.
550.
Harsh on the sandwiches. I was expecting higher from sandwiches for you, man. We've enjoyed a pair of sandwiches together.
I'm trying to give that room to grow because I know I will. I know I will. I was about to be like,
all right,
750. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
So 550. Mark that down.
550.
550. Elle, I haven't told you about this, but we're going to do something a little different today.
Some more, Tim.
And it's either going to work or it's not going to work.
Sure.
And it's going to be the worst episode ever.
Okay.
So we'll see. I'm going to give you some multiple choice questions throughout the episode in a game show like fashion to see if you can guess enough correctly. And if you do, you will get one accreditation towards your culinary history degree.
Wow.
I've been texting back and forth with the organization, and they said, listen, we're not going to give it to her. And I said, now you listen. I'm going to quiz her, and we're going to work towards that, and we're going to get you there.
Perfect.
So I hope you brought your thinking cap on.
I love standardized tests.
So, yeah, we all love standardized tests.
Bring it on.
Before we dive in, though, I think we should take a little break for our sponsors.
Sponsors?
Hey guys, welcome to the ad section. I'm here to tell you real quick about Anchor by Spotify. You may have heard us talk about Anchor at the end of our episodes, is because Anchor is the platform we use to distribute our podcasts. It's totally free. It helps us distribute our podcasts to different platforms. That's how we're on Apple Podcasts. That's how we're on Google Podcasts, CastBox, you name it. They've helped us do that. You can record directly on the app, on the webpage. So you don't even need a super fancy setup. It's super straightforward, totally free. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast or whatever you like to do. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the episode. Hey there. It's your host, Tim, stopping the podcast to tell you about an awesome deal that you can get through Rep Sports. Rep Sports is a supplement company, so they help supplement people's workout lives. They have proteins, pre-workouts, post-workouts, recoveries. They have all types of supplements over there, so go check them out and fill out that stack. I know you're getting low. I can feel it. My stack's getting low. I'm about to do me a shop as well. You can also get mine and Elle's favorite energy drink, Raise Energy. I'm telling you, one can get you through the day. Not a problem. Raise Energy is fantastic. No crash at all. So if you go to repsports.com and use the code WDF15, you can get 15% at checkout. Again, WDF15. You get 15% at checkout, and you also get to support this podcast and support your workout routine, man. Go do it. Now enjoy the rest of this podcast that we love doing.
Nope. Well then, what about invisible sandwich? Hero, imagine eating a sandwich, but everybody just thinks you're crazy. Just stop.
So, what's a sandwich anyways? That's my header. That's my header for this next section. I divided it all. Well, the British Sandwich Association defines a sandwich as any form of bread with a filling, generally assembled cold. That definition includes wraps and bagels, but excludes burgers. So it seems like maybe you are British, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Isn't it? British, isn't it?
London.
We every time we
Have
got
to.
London.
Have to.
We got to be assholes about it.
Have to.
For me personally, that association can politely go fuck itself.
Politely, though.
Because how dare they? And how dare you to not include burgers? Disrespectful. The USDA uses the definition at least 35% cooked meat and no more than 50% bread for closed sandwiches and at least 50% cooked meat for open sandwiches.
Interesting.
Which I think is better. I think that's a better definition. But shout out to the veg heads out there. Because those are also still sandwiches. Like, veggie sandwiches are very much sandwiches. I don't know what to tell people. You kind of already answered this, but I gave a little open-ended question for our first question of the podcast. And, Elle, if you had to give a succinct definition of a sandwich, what would that definition be?
Tim, would it be some sort of protein or veggie smushed in between an enclosure of either bread or a lettuce of some type?
And that is your first correct answer, Elle.
Woo!
There you go.
Wow.
I want to make it clear that you were going to get it correct no matter what you said.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
Because it was, it was a give me. It was I'm really pulling for you here.
I appreciate that.
You should understand how much I'm trying to get you this accreditation. So let's move. And we've discussed what a sandwich is. Now everyone knows what a sandwich is. We're all in agreement that a sandwich is a meat or veggie shoved in between bread or lettuce, apparently.
Apparently.
And that gets everything. That gets hot dogs, hamburgers, all of it. So there you go. I do want to mention that I did say two, so I guess I don't know if that fits hot dogs, but because it's technically a split bun, but does that mean submarines don't fit because that's technically a split bun? Wrong.
Oh.
They fit because it's technically you're making it two pieces. I don't want to hear it.
Oh.
So when was the sandwich made?
That's a good question. When was the sandwich made?
When was it made? The sandwich didn't get its name until the 18th century, but we'll get to that. Before the sandwich was called the sandwich, it is simply believed to be referred to as bread and meat or bread and cheese. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding.
That's
Before we called things in between bread sandwiches, we were just like, hey, I want the bread and meat.
Let me get that bread
please.
and meat. It's not an inaccurate description of what it is. I love it.
Yeah. The earliest recognizable form of a sandwich is possibly the Hillel sandwich, which was consumed during, or not was, but is still consumed during Passover.
Okay.
It comes from the Jewish leader with the same name. He was also a rabbi known as Hillel the Elder, who lived in Jerusalem. And that was during the time of King Herod around 110 BCE. So this is fucking old, buddy.
Holy
is
cow.
way back then. Yeah, so this is one of the first recognizable sandwiches all the way back then. And he suggested eating bitter herbs inside an unleavened matzah bread.
Matzah.
We love matzah
Oh my gosh,
here.
yes.
And as I said, that sandwich is still consumed today. So very
That's
cool.
really incredible. Yeah.
And yeah. To move a little bit further down the timeline, during the Middle Ages, thick stale bread was known as trenchers. And they were used as plates, essentially. So instead of having plates, they just used these big, thick pieces of stale bread.
OG bread bowl?
And put meat. Yeah, and they put meats and foods, and the grease and the juice would all soak into the bread. And if you were hungry enough, you just kind of ate all of that stuff and then ate the bread as well. And it's essentially creating an open-faced sandwich if you believe those are sandwiches, but I included it because it was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah,
I know.
okay.
Bear with me.
Interesting take there. Okay.
And and apparently a thing that was really common with the trenchers is you would get done, if you were full after you got done eating the filling or the topper or whatever you want to call it, you would either give it to someone else in need or you would like give it to your pet or whatever, because it was like the soaked, meat juice bread.
Delicious. Yeah, I'm sure
Which was
delicious.
interesting.
Yeah, considering your options.
The man credited with the namesake is John Montague, the 4th Earl of Sandwich. That's right. There's an Earl of Sandwich. That's his title.
That's not a TV show?
Before we called bread and cheese and bread and meat sandwiches, it was just a title of a guy in like high society. 4th Earl of Sandwich, John Montague. And that leads us to our second question of the episode. Ooh. John Montague would order meat between 2 pieces of bread so he could keep one hand free to continue doing what? A, writing music. B, painting. C, gambling. Or D, squeezing the squatch, if you know what I mean.
Wow. The degenerate in me is leaning towards C or D.
Okay.
Is it D?
Well, we don't quite know exactly why Montague became the namesake. We do know that in early 1770s, French travel writer Pierre-Jean Grosley published a satirical book called A Tour to London that has a scene that is believed to be describing John Montague, the 4th Earl of Sandwich, eating beef between 2 slices of bread while continuing to gamble.
Come on.
That's right. It started in the gambling scene.
Sandwiches.
Better luck next time, Elle.
In the gambling.
Yeah, sandwiches in the gambling scene. Edward Gibbon is credited with being the first person to write the word sandwich down a full decade before that book came out, the satirical one. But during that time, Gibbon was First Lord of Admiralty, so it was possible that the 4th Earl of Sandwich knew him. And they, introduced the sandwich to his high society friends. Because they all got together and had fun. Yeah.
Gambling.
And gambling. So sandwiches, at least one of the first versions, started as a religious thing. Quickly moved into, poor people worker thing.
Of course.
And then gambling. It started out as quick food for workers, gamblers, but it made its way into polite society as a late night meal.
Ooh.
The theory behind this is that lunch was a bigger meal and you would just take some of the higher end lunch stuff and you would just create sandwiches out of it. So that's sort of how that started happening. And by the 19th century, sandwiches gained a ton of popularity in Spain and England with the rise of the industrial society. So it went right back into the hands of the laborers, essentially. Sandwiches are easy meals to make for your long day in the factory. They were always cheap meals. We're done with Europe. I'm tired of talking about them.
Done with Europe? All right.
Let's talk about sandwiches in the States.
Of course. Let's do it.
You want to talk about sandwiches in the States, Elle?
Absolutely.
It is believed that the first sandwich recipe in the U.S. was in 1837 in Eliza Leslie's book, Miss Leslie's Directions for Cooking. Well, Cookery, sorry. Directions for Cookery.
Cookery, yeah.
We're a good history podcast. Everything was cookery, you know what I mean? It wasn't cooking, it was cookery. It was a ham sandwich, by the way.
A ham sandwich?
A ham sandwich. Ham sandwich. And it asked to be put with, if you had it, a little bit of butter on the bread and a little bit of mustard.
Oh.
And you took some cold boiled ham and you made a ham sammy, which obviously is pretty popular because that's pretty close to a ham sandwich today.
Yeah.
People don't necessarily do butter, but like mustard, ham, and cheese is pretty common. So
mustard, yeah. And then, yeah. Interesting. Wow, that's not changed either.
The first known recipe for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich appeared in 1901 in the Boston Cooking School magazine of Culinary Science and Domestic Economics. Elle, if you had to place, that's the longest magazine name known to mankind. Like, that's insane. I'm going to ask you questions that's not a part of the actual question. If you had to place where you thought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were like first mentioned, in your head, where was that?
In my head, where was that?
Yeah, like in your head, you know how like we hear timelines and we go like that doesn't make sense. This one to me did not make sense. 1901 seems absurdly late.
Yeah, no, I mean, because it's like, I guess because we were like already preserving jams, I think, at that point. Now, peanut butter, yeah. I like, when I first think about it, I'm like, a child made it, like some family made it at home.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm sure probably was a thing, but the first time it was mentioned in any like known literature was 1901. Yeah, this is where, no matter how much we do this show, I'm still an idiot. And I have no idea when anything happens at any point in time in history until I read it on a page. And then when I read it, I go, no fucking way.
That's all right. Yeah. No.
Yeah, no way. No fucking
no way. No how.
We were eating PBs and J's since 1776.
1776? The American Revolution?
Since Plymouth Rock, we were eating peanut butter and jellies. I don't care what anyone says.
It was coffee and peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, that's the most American thing about us.
Don't tell Dunkin' Donuts.
So, Elle, in 1928, something very important was invented that would catapult sandwiches to new heights. Elle, what was that invention? Was it A, mass production of peanut butter, B, sliced bread, C, sandwich bags, D, the phrasing, squeezing the squatch?
That answer comes back to haunt me. Can you repeat the question again? I'm like, B or C, though. B or C.
In 1928, there was an invention that would catapult sandwiches to new heights. What was that invention? Was it A, mass production of peanut butter, B, sliced bread, C, sandwich bags, D, not an actual answer?
Just to clarify, I think it's C.
Just to clarify, you think it's C, sandwich bags?
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know the timeline anymore. Because I'm like, when did sliced bread get invented?
Are you going with C, final answer?
I guess, yeah.
Otto Frederick Roeheader, worked as a jeweler, but at heart was an inventor. And on July 7th, 1928, he created a machine that would make sliced bread.
Shut up.
That's right. And he did the market research to slice the bread at the right thickness, which is about half an inch thick.
And that's like never changed, has it?
And that's never changed, Elle. July 7th, 1928, sliced bread was made, and it couldn't have been a bigger deal.
That's pretty impressive.
He ended up selling his patent to like 2 different people. It ended up getting improved upon after that, and voila. The improvement, by the way, was the first rendition of the invention did not bag the bread at the same time. When he sold it, it got improved to then bag the bread, essentially. It would get cut and put into a chute that then would just get a bag slid over it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure that process is probably still the same. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's probably just faster. You know what I mean? It's probably just like a faster process, but you probably don't need like an actual person putting the bag on it. It probably just gets shot into a bag.
That is wild, though. Okay.
Pretty wild.
That's probably one of the, like, the cliche of like, oh, that's the best thing since sliced bread. But I think that, you want to talk about things that absolutely changed the course of food history overall, like the invention of sliced bread.
The invention of sliced bread. Really, like, imagine a world without it.
I can't wrap my brain around it.
What is it? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Doesn't make sense. It's always been here since 1776.
Yeah, I mean,
when the world started.
Literally. It's like between that, like the sandwich, dinosaurs and the sandwich.
Yeah.
Like that's just been around forever.
Yeah, dinosaurs and then America. That's how history works. It's prehistoric and then 1776. Hoorah!
Hoorah!
So after that, not only did bread become an even bigger staple in the U.S. diet, and when I say even bigger, I mean it fucking became massive. It's a
staple.
Before we obviously ate bread. I mean, we've talked about the fact that bread is, it's for history. It's been an easy, accessible food for poor people, for everyone, because it's also delicious enough that everybody wants to eat it. But specifically after sliced bread, it's just like now it's in everything. We're just using it all the time. It really helped catapult sandwiches. It turned the whole thing around. So we're going to talk about some regional sandwiches.
Ooh,
and we're going to talk about four of the bigger names. There are plenty of different names in different states, stuff like that. But we're going to talk about kind of the 4 that I think most people know.
Okay.
So the 4 we're going to talk about is Hero, Submarine, Grinder, and Hoagie.
Ooh.
Have you heard of all those?
Can you
confirm?
Some of these sound familiar. I don't think I've heard of 2 of them though.
Which 2?
The Grinder and the other one. Say them again. Grinder and the other one. Yes, a Hero sandwich. I'm like, it sounds
Submarine and Hoagie.
Submarine and Hoagie I have heard of, but Hero and Grinder I've not. Hero just sounds like you're telling me about an anime.
So a submarine, or a sub, as I'm going to now refer to it from now on,
Yes.
is at least 6 inches long and is constructed with meat, cheese, fixings, and dressings, or just veggies and cheese and fixings and dressings. It is commonly served cold and is most ubiquitous for the long roll style sandwich.
Delicious.
It is most used in the country, like statistically, in terms of talking about long roll sub sandwiches.
Okay.
Like when you think of Subway, Jersey Mike's,
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
Firehouse subs, any of those guys, Blimpie, all those guys, that most people refer to those as submarines. So, or just subs. That's the thing that most things go by. The family of Dominic Conti claims that he was the first to use the name submarine.
Okay.
All the way back in 1927. The family claims that Dominic called his sandwiches submarines because he saw the Holland 1 display in Westside Park and claimed that the hull looked like the sandwiches he made in his store. And so from then on out, he called them submarine sandwiches.
Okay. Do you believe that?
Again, that's the family's point. I think history's hard, and I don't want to discredit these fine people. So we're going to go with that. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah, okay.
Why not? Why
Okay.
wouldn't it be? You know what I mean? What else? What else? What if not that, what? You know what I mean?
If not, then now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if not, if not now what? If not, then when?
Sorry, I just had
right.
to. Yeah, okay. Okay, anyways. Submarines, Mr. Conti. Family. The family claims.
Yeah, I just love that so much. Now, hoagie
I'm familiar
is
with this
a
one.
big Pennsylvanian thing. Big Pennsylvanian thing.
Of course.
Big Philly thing.
I wish I could be surprised by
yeah.
this. Of course it is. Okay. Appreciate it, you guys.
Here's the deal. A hoagie in the dictionary is quite literally described as a sub. It's just a sub. That's all it is. Please don't kill me. If we have anyone that lives in Pennsylvania, specifically Philly, I know you guys all have like an edge on you. Don't kill me.
What?
Yeah,
What?
Don't kill me.
I'm
Just
confused.
that's what it's technically known as.
I'm confused. Why?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Elle, for your next question.
Oh, gosh.
Hoagie is an unusual name. So, where did the name come from? Was it A, Italian immigrants working in an area in Philly known as Hog Island were nicknamed Hoggies, and they happened to bring big sandwiches to lunch, so those sandwiches took that name? B, an Irish coworker named Hogan was jealous of his Italian coworkers' sandwiches and asked to buy one from them, and then everyone started calling the sandwiches Hogan's? Was it C, an invention of Augustine di Costanza and his wife Catherine, who used to serve gamblers big sandwiches late at night from their grocery store? Or D, was it Depression-era jazz musician and sandwich shop owner Al De Palma, who made those big sandwiches for those workers on Hog Island and called them Hoggies because of how the workers looked eating said sandwiches?
Oh, man. I'm going to go D.
You're going to go D.
I'm going to go D. That sounds like enough of a backstory to make sense.
Well, that is right.
Whew.
Even though technically it's all of the above.
No way.
So everything I just read is a theory of where the name hoagie comes from.
The first one is just mean.
The only thing that's even kind of a through line is Hog Island, which is an area in Philly that there were workers. The Augustine di Costanza and his wife Catherine, though they owned a grocery store and they used to stay open really late for all the gamblers
That one also
and
sounded
late night
legit.
drinkers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and the theory is that it came from there, just because that's what they called them, similar to the Dominique Coty family, where it's just like it's a dude who made sandwiches and they just called them hoagies. But they're all theories. The funniest one to me is Hogan. The Irish co-worker of the Italian.
I didn't think that one was real at all.
That's the only one that, like, I'm kind of surprised that historians even kind of line it in with the other three, because the other three seem like semi-possible. That one just seems insane to me. But
yeah, no, I thought that was your...
You thought that was my joke answer. Well,
Yes.
and I was laughing because I think it's so fucking funny. I think that is hilarious. Like,
It's unreal.
he buys a sandwich from a coworker and they just start calling him Hogan's. Either way, what you may have noticed outside of the C option with Augustine and Catherine was that they were all called not hoagies. They were either hoggies or Hogan's.
Yes.
And I guess the Pennsylvanian European weird dialect that they have going on just kind of turned them into hoagies.
Hoagies.
You know, because they can't say O's apparently. I don't know. Like, so over time, it just became hoagies. Now,
I'm glad. Yeah.
in the land of New York City,
Yes.
you'll hear the term hero.
Okay.
And that name is believed to come from the New York Herald Tribune columnist named Clementine Paddleworth.
What a
Great
name.
name.
Incredible. Yeah.
Great name. Great
Top
name.
tier. Yeah.
In 1936, she described a sandwich so large, you had to be a hero to eat it.
Oh.
Yeah. A hero is similar to a sub, but
Okay.
refers to both hot and cold sandwiches.
Ooh. Okay.
So,
I like my hot sandwiches too.
all
so
encompassing New York City thing. You know what I mean?
It makes sense that I haven't heard of it. I'm not gonna lie. Low-key.
Oh, what? You don't like New York? You don't like New York City?
Oh, whoa,
That
whoa,
what I'm
whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what I said.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, my buddy Johnny's got a problem with that. You know, Johnny was the guy that
Johnny Damon?
Johnny was the guy in the other story. I can't remember what that bit was from. Eggnog. It was eggnog.
Milk punch.
The term grinders. We're moving on to grinders. The term grinders hails from New England.
Okay. Unexpected.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same as a hero. Just, again, regional difference. And some claim the name, which, by the way, the hero is pretty much just a sub. So everything is just a sub. That's
Yeah.
it.
Everything is a sub
They're
with a
just
different
regional
name of
names.
sub. Yeah. But it's a sub.
Yeah. Some claim the name grinder is an Italian-American slang for dock workers.
Okay.
Because the
They're
dock
grinding.
workers used to, like, grind shit. I don't know. Not
Okay.
like grind in the 21st century way that we think about it.
Hustling.
Like, God, wake up and get the grind. You know, not
Hustling.
that. Just like physically, like they would grind things. The connection being that sandwiches were a laborer's food choice. They would bring sandwiches,
Yeah,
big
okay.
sandwiches, it's same shit, right? You know, big sandwiches, they call them grinders. But it's more likely that the name came from the fact that the sandwiches took longer to chew because they're big ass sandwiches.
Gotta keep grinding
So
at it. Just
know.
kidding.
yeah, they've been and you know and they've been in the fucking lunch sack all day long. Probably a little stale when you get to them.
Yeah.
For your
Yeah, that's
25-minute break on your 12-hour shift. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
So you know.
Labor.
Listen, we're talking early fucking America, all right? People were not, they didn't have labor rights yet.
What are
So-
those? Yep.
That's the four big ones. That's the
Interesting.
four big ones. It
Okay.
would be a little fucking rude of me not to mention the Louisiana sandwich known as the po' boy.
The po' boy. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes.
El, do you like po' boys?
I do like, yeah, a little bit.
When I was in, I don't know if your lunch school had this, but when I was in school, very rarely, we would have a po' boy day.
No way.
Yeah, we go in, and it was this like 6-inch sub roll that was buttered to hell and back, like
Oh, okay.
well
Got my
buttered,
attention.
but probably like Texas. You know the Texas toast you buy in
Yeah.
the frozen section.
Yeah.
So it was that flavor, but on like a submarine bread.
Oof,
You know what I mean? Like
oof.
little 6-inch thing.
Okay.
And it was like, you know, it was like oven broiled or whatever. It was fucking the Maillard reaction toasted. I couldn't think of the word toasted, so I went with the French word Maillard. Whatever. And
Oh shit! Shout out
That's
season
so
1.
stupid.
Okay, I love that.
In the shrimp, and it come with shrimp and like coleslaw on it. And the little shrimp, there were these little bitty little fried shrimpy guys, and they were so good. Easily one of the best lunch sandwiches we had. Get that fucking bad boy Choco Milk. Oh, out of this world. Can't beat it. 10 out of 10.
That's incredible.
10 out of 10.
I never had anything like that at school lunch ever. I don't even think the
No, never.
I don't think po' boys were a thing in our vernacular.
Yeah. Well, you know, I grew up in Texas, and we're right next to. I grew up in the part that's like right next to Louisiana too. I was literally like an hour away, maybe an hour away from Louisiana.
So you know good po' boys.
Yeah. The school lunch one probably isn't that good. But it was good for compared to like what else you get. I don't know. I'm not a big like Louisiana food guy. I don't really do Cajun food that much.
Gumbo.
And if we did, it was mostly like gumbo.
Okay.
Yeah, boudin, gumbo, shit like that. Wasn't really po' boys, but you know, po' boys. Nothing sounds bad about them. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
It's fried seafood in between some bread with some slaw. It sounds great. So I'm sure there are some really good ones. All that to say that I'm gonna do a very very short history on po' boys.
Yes, please. I'm curious.
They're believed to have started because of Benny and Clovis Martin. They were two brothers that would feed there was oh my God, I'm all backwards. So Benny and Clovis Martin were two brothers that would feed the strikers during the streetcar driver strike in 1929.
Nice.
And
okay.
They did so for free. Yeah.
Also double
they would
nice.
Just give these people some Sammies. Apparently, the story goes that they would call the strikers poor boys. Yeah, because they're poor. Since this is, Louisiana, I believe around New Orleans, it got shortened to po' boy, or
absolutely
just the general way they speak. Po' boy. That's how that happened.
That's fun. I like that.
So
okay.
that's the history of po' boys.
I like that origin story.
Tim. The next big expansion and our conclusion. Once we get past the World War, the second one, we have a post-war boom, which we've talked about before.
Yes. Okay.
And we see a general food expansion happen across the country. Again, we've talked about that. More people got good jobs. More people got educated through college. More people traveled. And this is off the backs of people coming from across seas. Again, post-war. So different foods were just moving around. We were getting things from across the pond. We were, making more money, so people got more interested into the culinary arts. And we saw a big expansion in the late 60s, 70s, and 80s of food in this country.
Yep.
And of food in general. Like, just in general, people were just spending more time really creating interesting things. And this brought different breads to our country, which means that we remixed some of the old sandwich recipes with new breads, i.e. chicken salad on a croissant. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Croissants in general were brought to the country. And so we just did a bunch of stuff like that and then created new sandwiches in general, just a bunch of different stuff. It's probably when we started doing wraps and different things like that.
That's fun. Okay.
Sort of changed up the whole game. And, of course, we cannot forget the sandwich chain restaurants.
Oh, yes.
In 1964, the very first Blimpie opened up in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken, no joking.
If you guys don't know what Blimpie is literally the Northeast Subway. That's it.
OG.
That's all you need to know. And in 1965, Pete's Super Submarines, a.k.a. Subway, opened in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Interesting.
And from there, that's it. That is it. Pretty much from mid-60s onwards, the rest is history, as they say. Food exploded. Different sandwiches popped up. These, sandwich shops started really populating. And then we got more from there. Jersey Mike's, Firehouse Sub, all these guys. I mean, tons and tons of different sandwich shops. Thundercloud Subs, shout out to my boys in Austin. Best cold cuts in the game, shout out. Yeah, and that's the history of sandwiches, and it's why Americans, on average, eat 200 sandwiches a year.
Holy cow.
Unless you're me, because I eat a sandwich every goddamn day.
Every day. That's every day.
Pretty much every day. I do really eat a sandwich almost every day. But that's sandwiches, Elle. That's all I got for you, man. Let's see how you did on your tally. One correct, one incorrect.
And 2 incorrect.
One correct. You got a 50%, Elle.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, they won't. They just texted me and said that.
What do
50%
you mean? No
is
child
abysmal.
left behind.
You had 4 questions and you couldn't get 3. So
No child left behind. What do you mean? We're good. We're golden. We're good.
Yeah. So you know, Elle, unfortunately, I can't give you the one accreditation.
That's fine. I'm literally about to.
But they
I'm
are
about
actually.
No, yeah, that's fine. I'm literally about to just go a different route, so that's okay.
Oh, you changed the career paths.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's just funny because like I don't see them doing the research. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, we may visit another questionnaire in the future, unless this completely sucks and no one liked it. Then we won't ever do that again. But we're moving on to our last few segments. Elle,
Tim,
what were your favorite parts?
My favorite part of sandwiches, genuinely learning that all of the sandwich types are just all actually sub sandwiches. That was like a fun little like twist that I like should have seen coming. I didn't. Like you're like, oh yeah, these different sandwich types, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of some of these, and it's like, oh no, they're actually all technically just subs. It's just a very regional thing. So I don't know. I thought that was really cool, and of course, I will 2-part this. I know we talk about it, but I do think it is really cool, kind of the boom that did happen and like the innovation that occurred post World War II and how it just affected all industries, but food, I think it's just really cool to see. Because we're really, like, we're not even 100 years since the invention of sliced bread.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Those are, that was cool. Just kind of that perspective.
Yeah.
And getting that.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Yeah, we're still a few years away from that. So, Elle, you gave it a 550. Where are we at?
Oh yeah, we're bumping that up to like 720, 721. We'll have nice numbers on that.
720. Yeah. I know. Again, I'm always the one that does. I always do the scale, even though I'm the host. And hosts don't typically do the scale. Mine's like I love sandwiches.
You have almost every day. You got
love
to. Yeah.
Sandwiches. 770, man. I love them. Big fan of sandwiches.
Big sandwich guy.
Now we're moving on to the next segment, which is Tim's final thoughts. All right, and that's the end of the podcast. Yeah, I did the same joke, but silenced myself. Guys, that's the end of the podcast. This is Weirdo's food. That way I don't seem like a misogynist.
Comments are coming for you.
That was Weirdo's sandwiches, and this is Weirdo's food.
Woo.
And I'm Weirdo's Tim, and that's Weirdo's
Elle.
Elle. And the music that you just heard that kicked on, and also at the top,
pretty sick,
and during our little transitions to ads that you skipped over.
Why'd you call him out like that,
Tim?
That's
all made by that's made by Austin Martin.
Woo-hoo.
I'm kidding. It's just Austin Martin.
Okay.
He and I co-collaborated on this one, but he deserves a special shout out for turning what was a very basic track into something that's genuinely enjoyable to listen to, and I, with shame, listened to that track more than I should. Because I helped make it. It seems weird that I like it so much.
No.
But I do. I think it's really fucking cool.
Absolutely. It's cool.
Yeah, let me brag about our fucking...
You should brag about your music.
Brag about our fucking theme song. You guys can check him out on Apple Music and Spotify under Meridian Sky. You can check him out. He does rock music. Makes it all. It's great. He does fantastic work. So check him out. Give him some love. You know what else you can do? You can check us out on the social medias. You can check me out on Instagram under Tim_and_Winston. You can check Elle out on Twitter at
Elle Chapo with 3 underscores in between Elle and Chapo.
And you can check out the actual podcast page on Twitter as well. It's going to be at Where Does Food. You can check us out there. You can you can interact with us if you want. I mainly run the Where Does Food Twitter, so technically you're chatting with me, even though I don't have a personal Twitter anymore. And
Still get Tim time.
you also can check us out at wheredoesfood.com. You can check us out at wheredoesfood.com. We have a website. You can listen to the podcast episodes there. And there's a little blurb about us. It's fun. It's a good time. It's cute. Also, home base is anchor.fm/where-does-food. That is home base RSS feed. You can also throw some change our way if that's how you want to support us. We do have a supporter button. Just give us some cashish monthly. It's just for shits and giggles, just to be supportive. We do have a couple. We're always trying to expand and do some stuff, but we work full time, so there's no guarantee that we're gonna get to bonus stuff. But when we do, we'll let you guys know. So if you support us with cash, just know it's just for the love of the game.
Love the game.
If you want to give us some free support, free support's real fucking easy. You can leave a comment and rate us on the websites that allow you to do that. It always helps, algorithm-wise. Another way you can do free support is trapping your relatives, friends, and family in cars. Relatives and families are redundant, same fucking thing. You can trap them in your car, put on every episode starting with episode 1 of Where Does Food. We have like 50 fucking episodes now, and you just let that bad boy rip. And season 3 is a long one. Season 3 has got every episode. Season 3 is an hour long, so it's like a 10-hour listen straight. So you have fun with that. Just force people to listen to that shit, and maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, but you won't know until you make them listen to it. Because here's the thing, guys, you can spread the word, but you know what those people are doing when you tell them that you're interested in a podcast? You know what they're doing?
What are they doing, Tim?
They're going, yeah, sounds good, man, and they never fucking go and listen to it.
They never go.
Ever. You know how many podcasts? I'm a podcast fiend. You know how many podcasts I recommend to people? You know how many they listen? You know how many times they listen to them? Never. So, trap them in the car. I think that's it. I think that's all the stuff I have to say.
I think the thread at the end is always good. Yeah,
the thread at the end is always good. You guys remember to brush your teeth, wash your buttholes, and put on deodorant.
Yeah.
See ya.